It just got really windy all of a sudden. There's thundering and it's raining, so perfect reading weather. Hello book besties, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma Soup, a book lover that's always on a binge. Today I'm going to give you guys an introductory guide to fantasy books. Books that are not so well known but are as equally welcoming to the world of fantasy. We already know about ACOTAR, Throne of Glass, Fourth Wing. Those are the most popular books in this genre. But we are going to delve in deeper into the book world and give you guys some recommendations that I've had for the back of my mind for the longest time that nobody really talks about or is lesser known than those big three. Now, I know it can be very daunting to step into the fantasy world if you're a new reader. I know I was when I first started. Luckily, ACOTAR did help with that transition. Now, a book I would recommend for beginners when it comes to fae fantasy is Quicksilver. This is such an easy read. I think the world building in this is really well done. And as a new reader, you would be able to understand what's going on very easily. The fact that this has a morally gray MC is just a bonus. Now, in this world, the fae are very rare, and our female main character, Circe Fane, is an alchemist who forges weapons and materials from metals. And then one day, she unfortunately meets Death. Death happens to be our male main character, Kingfisher. And she's taken to this whole new world that's supposed to be non-existent, but is in fact in another realm, which has connections to her universe through portals. And the portals are filled with Quicksilver, as the title suggests. We get to see her through this journey of learning about the fae world, helping the fae world, and also uncovering secrets and information that have been buried for years on years. I also recommend that if you're gonna pick this one up, to do an immersive reading where you read while you listen to the audiobook, because the voice actors does an amazing job. If you're looking for more of the vampire side of things when it comes to fantasy or werewolves or dragons, the most obvious one is definitely gonna be Fourth Wing for dragons. But for vampires, there are many choices to have. And a great introductory one is The Crown of Nyaxia duology by Carissa Broadbent. The first book is The Serpent of the Wings and Night, and the second book is The Ashes of the Star-Cursed King. This duology definitely did it for me when it came to vampires, but also the novella that comes after the first book, incredible. In fact, I think I love this one a lot, even though it's a really short one. But like I said, this is a great beginner's guide to vampire fantasy. The story follows Oriya, our female main character, who has been taken under the care of the Nightborn Vampire King in this world. Now, there are also two other vampire kingdoms. Oriya gets brought up by this vampire king, who then trains her in order to participate in these deadly trials that they have, where vampires of all kinds fight amongst one another to have their wishes granted by the goddess that holds this competition, and it's called the Kajari tournament. Now, Oriya is the only human to enter this competition, so she has to do everything she can to prove herself worthy and to stay alive. And during this tournament, she ends up meeting our male main character, Rain, who is a vampire, who has a very mysterious and dark demeanor. In order to survive this tournament, they end up making an unlikely team, but of course, it doesn't go smooth. It has left Oriya with so many questions of whether or not to trust this man. This is an incredible duology to read if you're wanting to get into vampire fantasy, and I think book 2 definitely wraps it up pretty well. Now, if you want a werewolf fantasy, I would recommend Direbound by Sable Sorensen. This book right here. This book is so easy to understand, and the world itself is so interesting. It has political intrigue, bonding between a wolf and human. There's also factions of humans, such as the commoners, the royals, and then the bonded, which are families that come a long line of being able to bond with werewolves. And the wolves themselves are also factioned into 4 groups. Our female main character, Marion, is a commoner, and she survived all her life just through sheer fight and will. She has to provide for her mother and her sister, so she participates in these underground fighting rings and wins every time. And she is definitely a baddie FMC, let me tell you, right from the start. This girl is strong-minded. She does not back down from a challenge, okay? In fact, the more that you challenge her, the more ferocious she gets and the more terrifying she is. Now, if you want all 3 of that, vampires, werewolves, and dragons in a fantasy world, but also make it urban fantasy, then you definitely need to read the Zodiac Academy series. Now, I'm still in the middle of this series, okay? It is a big world, let me tell you. It's a bit overwhelming at first, but it's because I'm doing like the whole other series connected to this, okay? You don't have to do what I'm doing. Zodiac Academy itself has 12 books. I know, still daunting, but it is incredible. I'm currently on book 4. All I can say is once you start reading it, you're hooked. I became addicted, basically. This has like all types of creatures that you could ever want. You got your vampires, werewolves, dragons, fays, shapeshifters, and so much more. Personally, I think the series itself is very unique in the sense that it follows 2 female main characters. They're twin sisters called the Vega twins. One is Tori, one is Darcy. We follow them through their journey in this whole new fae world that they've never heard of before, okay? They've lived their life as humans up until to a certain age where they were basically kidnapped by a professor from this fae academy called Zodiac Academy. And they go on a whirlwind of finding themselves and finding out that they are in fact from royalty. And when the faes found out that the long-lost twins have emerged, it put everyone on a frenzy. Overall, such good vibes from this series so far. The vibes are immaculate. I just can't stop laughing and giggling and also crying at times. Like I really start to feel a connection amongst these characters. They just live rent-free in my head. And the romance in this book, another whirlwind and crazy amount of plot twists that will definitely leave you wanting more. This is also a bully romance, so let me warn you on that. And there's also a very slow burn romance. So if you're into that, this would be a great book to pick up. Now, amongst the lines of urban fantasy romance, once again, I'm gonna bring out the Book of Azrael. This is also another urban fantasy that I deeply love. It's also an ongoing series right now. Book 4 comes out soon, so if you want to pick this up now. It is fucking incredible, guys. Like, I need more people to read about this. I read this last September, I think. After I finished ACOTAR, I went straight into this and I did not regret it. This was my introduction to urban fantasy, in fact, and it is so good. Amber V. Nicole's writing, chef's kiss. I can't even explain to you how obsessed I am with this world, with the characters, with the author, the writing, the magic system. Everything about it is just amazing. You have a morally gray female main character who has been alive for 1,000 years, and her only goal is to protect her sister. That's all she wants in her life, is to make sure that she protects her sister and to have a good life for themselves. Until one day, she is tasked to find the Book of Azrael, and she goes on to search in a place that she does not belong and is in fact the enemy territory. And she ends up meeting our main character, Liam, who is in fact a good guy. Whereas she is seen as the bad guy. So the twist in this, where the male main character is the good guy and the female main character is the bad guy, I just love a lot, because I haven't really seen a lot of that in books. This is also another slow burn romance, but let me tell you, the connection between the 2 characters along the way, the tension that they have, the chemistry and the banter that they have, just so good, so good. And let me tell you, the plot twists will blow your mind. Now, if you want more of that high stake games and trials, but make it demons, devils, ghosts, apparitions, and all that, then you definitely need to pick up the Wicked Games Interconnected series by Kaylee Smith. The first book is Phantasma, and the second book that has come out very recently is Enchantra. And like I said, it is an interconnected series, meaning that it follows 2 different couples in each book. In the first one, it follows Ophelia, who is a necromancer. She gains these supernatural powers from her mother and ends up participating in this deadly games and trials called Phantasma. Now, what they don't know about Phantasma when they go in is that it's ran by these demons and devils, and she has to go through the 9 circles of hell in order to find her sister, who has ran away to participate in Phantasma. This is definitely a gory book, okay? They do not shy away from the deaths in this games and trials. You will see many of that, in fact. Now, with how brutal this games and trials is, she ends up forming an unlikely alliance with a phantom that works at this place. His name is Blackwell, in hopes to succeed through all these trials. And I kind of imagined him as Johnny Phantom, but hotter. And he has a way with his mouth. One of the most iconic things about him. The banter between the 2 of them is so entertaining to read. The romance between the 2 of them was so good. And the plot twist at the end, did not see that coming, y'all. Did not see that coming. Just watch out. The counterpart to this is the sister's book. Her name is Genevieve. She sets out to find out more about her family's powers and what they are, right? As necromancers. And she ends up going to this mansion to seek out answers from the people who are similar to her. What she didn't know is that the place she got led to is another Games and Trials. This family that she visits holds an annual hunting game that is requested by this devious devil, which usually ends up with only one winner. The rest of the family gets sent down under in hell for as long as the devil deems necessary, and they go through this almost every year. So now she gets stuck here. She ends up meeting Rowan, who is our male main character and is one of the 6 siblings that is participating in this deadly Games and Trials, and they form a pact, a marriage convenience pact, in order to get through this Games and Trials and for her to get answers out of them. This is definitely more of a slower burn romance compared to Phantasma, but I equally enjoyed both. Both have high stakes, very strong female main characters, and very mysterious and hot male main characters that you're gonna want to read about. So if you want more Games and Trials in your fantasy book, pick these 2 up. Next, if you want to delve into a gothic fantasy romance or romantasy, then this first one is definitely gonna be something you will enjoy. It is The Poisoner by Ivy Ophelia. Now, this is also a vampire romance, so you can check that off your list as well. And it is set in Victorian era times with a female main character who is a genius when it comes to herbology, but also into creating poisons for women to use for unsavory men in their lives. There are many of those men in this world. Now, Silas Forbes, our male main character, is in fact a vampire, and he is coined as the creature by our female main character, Ophelia. These two do not get along, let me tell you now. It is definitely a true enemies to lovers, but also enemies and lovers at some point. You're gonna want to read this. The amount of angst that goes on, the banter, the incredible hate amongst one another. Definitely read your trigger warnings because this is more of a dark fantasy. Oh, and our male main character, Silas, he has a forked tongue. It splits into 2 and he does things with his tongue. And he's blonde, which is very rare. I usually don't gravitate towards male characters who are blonde, but him, he is an exception. A delicious exception. The rain is crazy. Oh my god, it's hailing, guys. They're like golf ball size. I'm so glad my car's in the garage. You hear that? That is hail. Now, those were just a couple of the books that I have in my possession that I absolutely love and are great for fantasy beginners. But if you want more book recommendations in the fantasy genre, let me know in the comments below because I can totally make another video for you guys. I have so much more at my disposal that I want to talk about, but I don't have enough time and the storm is storming a lot. So I need to end this now. But yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!